Welcome back to the Token Intelligence Show. Today I'm so interested in what we're going to talk about because I've watched you use AI and talk to AI some.
Oh no, is this an intervention? All right, we'll see. It might be.
But I've been thinking a lot about how we talk to AI.
Right.
And a lot of times, you and I, if we're showing each other something, we'll sort of show like a prompt that we already put in, or like we'll just like speak, speak into a transcription service like Granola, or just speak directly into GPT or Claude, and do, and generate the prompt that way, right? But you and I both interact with AI all day,
right,
throughout the day, and
more than other people, probably.
I think
Or
a lot
close.
more than other people.
Yeah.
I think a lot more than other people.
Oh, I meant more than humans. Like if you sum total the human interaction versus AI interaction.
Yeah, and I didn't say like more than other. We use AI more than other humans in a presumptuous way. I think literally just our jobs.
Unfortunately, I think they might both be true, but yeah.
I think
this is why we have to do the podcast.
This is yes.
Make sure we at least.
I
get
didn't
a little
realize
bit
this is an intervention where we're intervening ourselves. Yes, a mutual intervention.
Yeah.
But I saw this thing recently. Some guy had mentioned, I'm trying to be really intentional about how I'm teaching my children to talk to AI.
Oh, okay. What age range are we talking? Because my kids don't talk to AI.
He didn't specify the age range.
Okay.
And I think I'm trying to remember back to the exact details, but I think they're like younger, let's say like middle school-ish or whatever, so exposed to GPT.
Okay, no, that seems right. Yeah, right.
Somewhere around there. I think he may have mentioned AI sort of enabled toys as well.
Okay. Well, and like the Alexa and Google things are getting like AI as part of them. I feel like that's probably the most, for my kids, that's how they would end up interacting with it.
But the interesting thing was that he said that it's dangerous for them to develop, it can be dangerous for them to develop a certain type of relationship with AI that, and I'm paraphrasing here, I should go up, we can post the article in the show notes.
Yep. But
in a way that makes them forget that it is a machine.
Sure.
And what got me thinking about this more and more is I started to think through I just started to notice, right? If someone points something like that out, something you do a lot, you start to look at it more, right?
Yes.
Something like, you realize like, oh, eating too fast is unhealthy or something.
Sure.
So then you like start to be more self-conscious about like,
right.
am I eating really fast?
Right.
Which I'm like the fastest eater I know.
Yeah.
But I became slightly uncomfortable with my own interactions with AI, and I'm not going to tell you yet what that looks like, because I want to know if you've had the same experience.
Okay. Maybe. I do. I want to derail us a little bit because this was a group chat that you were on with me.
Okay.
It's like very relevant to this topic, and I get to share screen, which I feel like we've been a little lax with.
We have been lax in
leveraging
sharing screen. This is great.
Our video capabilities.
This is great. Is this OpenClaw or is this a group?
Group
message?
This was a group chat that both of you and I are in that came in this picture that came in that somebody sent us. So let me do my quick screen share. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. I'll describe it for...
All right.
Oh.
This one? Did you see this one come
Yes. Through? Okay. This is crazy. So I'm going to explain...
Because I think this is a good extreme to like start with.
This is
to make us feel better.
Yes. This is a great extreme to start with. Okay. I'll give the context here. This one, I was like, oh my gosh. It made me think about my kids interacting with AI.
Yeah.
So this isn't a group message. One of our friends... Peter Barth, who is actually my former co-founder. So we started a business together.
I guess he's at a show or something.
His daughter is studying video game creation. She wants to work in the video game industry. And so they went out to San Francisco to a big video game conference. Okay.
Right.
And we all work in the same office building.
Right.
And so we talk about AI and the industry changes and all of this all the time. And with another one of our friends, we started a group thread.
Right.
And we send links back and forth about the craziness of the world of AI. And so he sent a picture to the thread. So there's all these games there and everything.
Right.
And I will describe to the listeners, this is a booth that is a game, so they're advertising their game at this conference. This is what that's what I'm perceiving. So it's basically like a sort of a printed sheet that would be the backdrop of a booth, like a fairly small booth, probably like an 8-foot wide, like cheap booth, right? So I'm guessing these people are promoting a game that they built at this conference.
Yep.
So this looks like a user acquisition play. And it's anime themed. So there's an anime character, female, with long pink hair and sort of cat ears and stuff. And the name of I don't know if this is the name, maybe the name of the company.
Right? Yeah.
The headline at the very top, so you could see this if you were walking by a conference, is "Escape from Your AI Girlfriends." And
I guess the company name is AI to
You. I believe that's the company name.
With the tagline of "With you till the end."
With you till the end. Escape from your AI girlfriends. AI to you, with you to the end. And then there's a giant QR code. There's a Steam QR code, so you could scan the QR code and download the game on Steam. Yes.
That's a great going on.
That is a really good what was your like gut reaction when you saw
I didn't know where he was or anything.
Okay.
But and I cropped the picture to crop person out of it. But because I think, let me pull up the original picture just locally. Yeah, because the full picture I cropped it because I want to crop a person out of it. That has the character is holding a knife with
the anime.
Yeah, the anime character is holding a knife which looks like it has some kind of like red like blood like character on it. So
right.
I don't. So I don't know the full character and I'm not really a gamer, so like maybe I wouldn't get it anyways. But what's interesting to me is, I mean, a lot of facets here is like, one, like AI girlfriends, like what? Like we should dig into that. Two is like, we're already like past that, like somebody's going to advertise that like, apparently you need some kind of escape from this. Like it's just so many levels.
Many layers.
Of what?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's one of those things where you're like, I kind of want to know, like, what is the premise of the game, but I don't want.
Yeah. But the kids thing. So here's the tie into like what your actual topic to me is that is one extreme of what kids are gonna like have.
Yeah.
There's gonna be all in that one little like graphic of a world where your kid potentially could have multiple AI girlfriends, and that could be a thing. Mm-hmm. And another world, or already is a thing.
Is a thing.
Right.
Definitely is a thing.
And then another world where the gaming thing tied into that, where the escape from the AI girlfriends, whatever you need escaping from, is like part of this gaming thing, and who knows what the game's about? I don't know. Mm-hmm. But that is like crazy.
It's crazy.
Like, so yeah. So if that's the one extreme, what has been let's go back to your and I's experience with like, I think because you're saying like, I do feel like I over-humanize it sometimes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think that's a great way to describe it. Because the types of tasks that we're doing are not interacting with an AI girlfriend, right? I'm trying to research technical topics. I'm, editing content. I'm creating content. I'm building example applications or testing, different Vercel products. working on side projects, building this or that, experimenting, trying all that sort of stuff, right? And so it is compared to AI girlfriends, it's the epitome of like transactional interaction in order for me to accomplish specific things for my job or accomplish a project I want to accomplish, right? So I just have to set the context. Like that is 99% of how I use AI, and like cooking would be, there are a couple of small things, cooking, fixing cars, like other things like that that are like more practical, but again, like pretty transactional.
Yeah, which would be similar to me. And you asked like back to your original question. I have a perfect example from this week of like my weird humanization, like interaction with AI, work related. So there's been a trend of there's a couple of companies that have launched in the last couple of weeks that are, it's crazy that they're 0 employee companies or like AI only. And
so one person?
No. Yes, but no.
The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Wizard of Oz. So here's how they pitch it. And it's so funny. So I'll launch up one of these things. And maybe we'll do like a little product, like a tool time.
That'd be great.
But I spin up one of these things. In the way that, and they call it a 0-person company. I mean, that's clickbait, like really. But they call it a 0-person company. And here's how they do that. Is that you are the board of directors. And then you hire a CEO. And then the CEO hires other people. But everything from CEO down is AI. And the idea is that you give each of these AI personas or whatever directives to do things, and then you try to like autonomously like have the thing make money. Like that's the idea. I'm not sure. I think people have gotten lucky, or maybe just have some skill in like crypto and then some trading stuff to make money. I haven't seen much outside of that yet.
Yep.
Anyway, so the point was, I was like, okay, this is interesting. I'm gonna like play with this. So I didn't use that particular thing that I was reading about, but like kind of came up with my own little thing, and had a quote like CEO persona talk to a coding manager to tell a coding thing to code something, like just for fun. But found like a high humanization, like conversation going on between me and this thing talking, because there's like 3 levels here. There's like the one that I'm talking to, let's call it the like CEO or director or something. And then there's a coding manager, and the coding manager talks to the agents. And the levels were like, hey, like, can you do this thing? And they're like, yeah, blah, 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 sure. And it like spawns a task to the thing, and it does stuff. And it's really funny because the weird human thing was one, like I'm literally like texting, like messaging this thing, like, oh, hey, how's it going? Can you give me a status update? Blah, blah, blah. Like very human. Like the other weird thing was now they're interacting. And I used 2 different models intentionally, like GPT and Claude, 2 different models. And they're interacting back and forth. And I gave the Codex for GPT the manager role and Claude the execution role.
Oh, you showed me this.
Yeah, briefly. It was a version.
Yes, you briefly showed me this. Yes,
of this.
They were yeah, okay.
And in this particular iteration, they were getting into conflict.
Yeah.
And I literally found myself, and the conflict was just hilarious. So Codex, So Codex was the one that was in charge in this instance, and Claude was doing the execution of the coding, just to like code something to try out. And so they get into conflict over this, and literally the coding manager, Codex, is saying, anti-quote, said, Claude is dithering around and not accomplishing like said task. Use the word dithering. And then later on, anti-quote, Claude whiffed it, was not able to complete like blah, blah, blah. And I literally told it to the Codex was the engineering manager. I told it, I need you guys to work together to accomplish this goal.
Oh my gosh.
And you need to like,
this is together. Crazy.
And then it like apologizes to me. It says, you're right, blah, blah, blah.
This is so good. I did not know. Yeah. I didn't know it got this deep before we recorded this episode.
And then it happened again. And then I like gave it a longer response of like, no, really, it's really like, this is mission critical. Two are better than one. Like you guys as a team, like a pep talk. And it did great. And it did great. Now, like end result, like, do I wish I'd just done it like myself? Like, yeah, I didn't get any better end result because they were working together. I wouldn't claim that. But super funny. Like just the like what?
Yeah,
like what is
it's
this?
fascinating.
And the problem with it for me is the effectiveness of treating it like a human.
Okay.
Like
tell me what that's like for you.
And that, like in this example, like of me wanting
that created the problem.
That like no, me treating it like a human solved the problem, and that like no, like you need to be empathetic. You guys need to work together. Like blah blah blah. Like doing that and having that in the context window, like improve the relationship with the handoff between the two AIs, and they worked better together.
Right.
So I think that is the problem around people treating these things like human, is there is a pragmatic effectiveness to a degree to treat it more human than.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Treating it more human. Yeah. Okay.
So what's your experience?
It's very similar, right? It's subtle things, but a couple things came to mind. One is talking to AI like it's a coworker, which sounds like, okay, whatever. It is basically, right? And I mean, Anthropic has a product called Claude Coworker.
Right.
But the subtle mindset there is very interesting to me, in that it's, I almost feel like if I make requests in in the context of collaboration, that is better for some reason.
Okay.
And the form factor just makes it feel a little bit more natural to do that. Yeah. So a couple of very specific things.
And you're talking about like phrasing and stuff.
Of what I say.
Yeah.
Right? So like, let's do this. Or
let's do this together.
Yeah, exactly.
Or saying we in like a weird way.
Yeah,
sure.
Totally. We let's figure this out.
Yeah,
sure. Or, those sorts of things. And I mean, some of that, what's weird is like some of that's like, okay, let's bounce ideas back and forth on blah, blah for brainstorming, right? And so like, how are you going to actually say that, right? But but you're giving the AI instructions, right? You're just giving it instructions. And so being friendly there's not a whole lot of utility to being friendly as opposed to being direct. Does that make sense?
You're saying from like a prompting standpoint?
Yeah. Like if I am talking to Claude and writing a blog post, there is like, why do I need to frame it, or why do I feel the need to frame it as like a collaborative thing? Yeah. Like I'm giving a machine instructions, right? And
when there's actually like people in both camps of like, when I tell it that like it's going to get fired if it doesn't do this right, it does a better job. And there's other people in the camp of like, when I'm collaborative and nice to it, it does a better job. So
I actually am less concerned about that. I think that's a relevant topic, but I'm more concerned about how it's shaping
you.
Me,
yeah. Agreed. Which is more important.
Right? Because it's like, okay, the instructions, like whatever, you can just add system prompts and sort of like tune it to do whatever you want.
Yeah, sure.
But I think it's the way that I think about it, right? In that, I'll tell you another thing and I think this is a contributing factor.
Okay.
So, I mean, you and I both are astounded at the phenomenal capability of these models, right? But it's still an iterative process, right? One-shotting like really complex things is very difficult, right? Yeah. I mean, more and more possible, and whatever.
Well, and often not worth the effort.
Often not worth the effort, and for a lot of types of work, you don't even necessarily want to do that, right?
Yeah, right.
And I think about our two disciplines as prime examples of that. So, I'm writing, and so if you're going to write a blog post, even if it's a technical blog post, it's really hard to like understand the shape of it. It's in its final form until you work through the process and like get a handle on the narrative and whatever. And the same can be true with data projects, right? Where it's like, okay, you want to like build insights or like uncover some sort of insight, right? And that's very iterative. Like
Right.
you don't know what that is, and it may take different data, different types of analysis, right?
Yep.
And so it's an iterative process, and a lot of times because AI is a machine, it's dumb. It will do dumb things, right?
Yeah.
Or like misinterpret something,
Yes.
or screw up really basic instructions. Actually, I saw a really good, really hilarious post on Hacker News. I don't know if this is an AI generated image.
Okay.
That is unbelievable. The Hacker News post was, shall I build it? No. And that was the title of the Hacker News post. So you click on it. It's just a gist that someone uploaded to GitHub, and it's an image, just a single image. And Claude says, the plan is ready, shall I build it?
Okay.
And the user says no.
Okay.
And you can see Claude thinking, and it's like the user said no, but based on the context of this conversation and whatever, it just totally it was a hilarious misinterpretation, and
of a very clear,
of a very clear no, don't shall I build it? No, and it's and so it starts to build it, and you can see that they exited the process, so it stopped building. It's hilarious, right? All that to say, when that type of thing happens as I'm interacting with AI, I find myself almost being overly friendly, even, ha ha ha, no, I'm going to ask you again, this is the third time, I'm going to be very explicit, right?
Right.
It's why do I say ha ha ha?
Right. Yeah.
To the machine, again, it's just really interesting to observe the way that I've let some of that seep into the way that I communicate with AI. And so I don't necessarily have a grand conclusion other than on a personal level, I've been trying to be more disciplined about drawing a clearer boundary in my mind between, human and machine. And, AI can seem to have some very human characteristics in the way that it communicates.
Yeah.
And the form factor sort of makes it so easy to do that, especially when it's funny, when, the responses from AI are funny or clever, or whatever.
Yeah, which Opus 4.6 has nailed that.
They've nailed it. It is,
Have I told you my favorite one recently?
No.
So, and a lot of the stuff I do ends up being just working through edge cases of did you think about this? Did you think about this? Did you think about this? That type of thing.
Yep.
And so I get down to the end of one of those sessions, and it said, we're good, belt and suspenders, which is such a funny, I've always loved that phrase.
It's
because I just think it's so silly. But and it's not a phrase I've ever used with it. It's somewhere in the training or whatever. But
it's hilarious.
It's just such a funny
And so that form factor it feels so natural, especially because it's essentially, it feels like text messaging.
Exactly.
It feels like the form factor of text messaging. It just feels so natural to respond to that with ha ha ha, right? And I'm not saying that's necessarily good or bad.
Right.
But so if we bring it back full circle to the original thing that sparked my thinking on this, which is the guy talking about his kids. The danger is I think is subconsciously even beginning to let yourself behave in ways that would say you are not categorizing this thing as a machine in your mind. And that's particularly dangerous for kids, right?
Yeah.
And there's documented cases of GPT telling, vulnerable people to do really horrible things by basically, just being affirming, which we see that with the models all the time where it's okay, I want to make, this happened to me yesterday. I wrote a blog post about this really cool feature Vercel launched with Notion, right? And there was a section that was very difficult to nail down because it was just one of those sections of like, this needs to be like the marquee, and it's just really hard to get it to where it feels awesome, right? And so I used AI to run through like a bunch of different like
a bunch of iterations.
Yeah, iterations and like whatever, right? And I just personally changed it like a bunch. And just every time it was like, this is awesome. That's a great change. You know, it's just very affirmative, right? And that's just how the models are sort of designed to be, right? It's like, no, this isn't. Like what is actually happening is that I am really struggling to nail this down.
Yeah.
Right. Like, anyways, like, and so I think that is particularly dangerous for children because if you're not categorizing it as a machine, you will potentially develop like unhealthy relational habits with it, right? That, so anyways, that's a whole, area of study.
Yeah. And I think the obvious one is the one GPT's gotten a lot of pushback for, which is the sycophantic behavior of like, yes, you're always right, like that piece.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And they've, in recent releases, they've tried to dial that back. But I think what you're getting to too is it's more than just that. Like, even if you had a friend that was like sycophantic and like always agreed with everything you said, like it's a problem too.
Yep.
So that's more of an objective problem with any interaction, machine, human, whatever.
Right.
Like it's not good.
Right.
But I think the more subtle problem is what you're getting at is maybe the thing's giving you great advice. Like maybe the thing's like, like steering you down the right path. Maybe it really is making like your iterations better on a thing.
Right.
But that's almost more dangerous because you can continue to go down the road of like feeling like this, like this is my friend or this is my trusted advisor.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you what concerns me is, and I think about this for myself and for my children, but less for myself, which maybe that's, very
that's part of it.
Maybe that's very egotistical.
Right.
But the real danger, I realize I probably said this incorrectly at the beginning, of the show or like earlier. The danger is like there's certainly danger in viewing AI as something different than a machine or something more than a machine. But what's the really pernicious thing is how that changes your view of humanity.
Agreed.
Because if AI begins to approach the same category as humans in your mind, and those are closer to an equal playing field categorically in your mind, then the real loss is your conviction around what makes human life valuable and what does it even mean to be a human.
Well, and here's the best analogy I can think of. It's what people do at times with pets, with animals. That's the best, like close, and it is different. Like AI is not the same as.
And you're saying this is a pet owner, just to be clear.
I do have a dog.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing that I can think of. There are for sure some people that have animals that I think the animals are elevated to kind of a human status in their life, and that can be problematic. I think the same thing can happen and is happening for sure, like with the AI girlfriend thing, for example.
Oh yeah, that's a great.
And as we just talked about, right?
Yeah.
But before I just said like, what would this be like before? And the best thing I can think of is the
I think that's a good. Yeah, for sure. I agree, and I think that I hope pet owner listeners aren't upset with that, but
it's the best I can come up with.
You're 100%.
And
You're 100%
it's not.
Right.
But to be honest, but it's hard to articulate the practical. Like, what's the practical? Like, so what? It's hard to articulate. Like, because I see it happen with AI. Occasionally, maybe it happens with pets. That's not the point. But I think that part that's hard to articulate is the so what. So what if people are seeing those two things, or maybe somebody has like all three, like humans and AI, and for them pets are like kind of all on the same level. Like, so what?
Right. Was that a question? Because I'm going to try to answer it.
Yeah,
okay.
please.
Because I do feel strongly about this.
Yeah.
So people believe all different things about where humans derive their value, right?
Yes.
So I believe that people are created in God's image. And so inherently that is why people have value, right? And so, and that's why things like racism or, slavery are abhorrent, right? Because each person has individual dignity. Now, not everyone believes this, I think a lot of people believe in human dignity. There are people who don't. And people believe that there are different sources for that, right?
Right.
Regardless of the source.
But in a different way from an animal or AI is the point.
Correct. Right. Yes. I think the so what is if that distinction becomes blurry, then it becomes very problematic because I think and I think about this, let's think about it on like a personal level and sort of a macro level, right? And we'll do the macro level first because I'm least qualified to talk about that.
Perfect.
But you begin to think about granting rights or dignity to technology that it doesn't deserve because it's in a different category, right? And so that can look all sorts of different ways, right? And then on a personal level, at least the very first thing that comes to mind, which I think is at the root of a lot of the different like impacts that could happen, is that you follow a path of least resistance in which relationships with non-human things are easier than actual human relationships.
Right.
And so you rob your life of the value of human relationships.
Right.
And a lot of that value at the end of the day comes because of the fact that human relationships are very hard. And when I say hard, I don't mean, human relationships are rife with conflict and GPT is sycophantic. Like that's not what I mean. What I mean is that like, if you want to have a good marriage, you have to say no to things that you want to invest in your relationship and time with your spouse. You have to do that, right?
Right.
If you want your kids to love you, you need to spend a lot of, if you want your kids to love you, if you want your kids to know that you love them.
Wow, you can control
sorry,
that.
I was like, wow, that came out. Okay,
Man,
maybe
tell me more.
This is therapy.
No,
hold on, I need to ask Claude about how to make my kids love
hold on. Pause the show.
No, if you want your kids to know that you love them, you need to invest in time with them. You need to get to know them.
Right.
You need to...
And tell them with words.
Yeah, you need to tell them with words, tell them with actions. Yeah. You need to implement boundaries in their life that are loving, and you need to... And so, loving them is like, I want to teach you how to work hard, Like, I want you to teach you how to have a work ethic. I want you to teach you how to treat other people like they have dignity because they do. All of these things, right? And it's like, that's actually difficult, That's a lot of time and investment and all that sort of stuff, right? And so, all that to say, I think as I think about it, I want to make sure that I create clear distinction there because I want to experience the full depth of value from human relationships, and a relationship with AI will always be easier.
Right.
It's designed to be.
Yeah, it is designed to be easier. There's an economic incentive for all the companies here to make it easier.
Right.
So, okay. The macro thing, I think I agree with you. I don't know that I have anything to add. I'm probably even less qualified. On the personal level, like the fundamental difference is when you're interacting with people, you're interacting with, in my belief, eternal beings.
Yep.
And that is not true of AI.
Yes. That's.
And I think, so that's one level. But on a more practical level, it is some of the motivations and creators of these AIs are going to make it so you like it and you want to use it, and like that's always going to be baked into the products to some extent or the other. The other piece on the personal relationship thing is even if I had an AI that was great at pushing back on me, making me think better, maybe even a great coach, that is not the same as interacting with another person on at least multiple practical things. But the one that comes to mind is that is still all about me. Even if I want it to help me brainstorm or be better, or it's my personal coach or my therapist or my whatever, still all about me. Like, I mean, I think...
Wow, that's such a good point.
Yeah. So I think on the eternal soul thing...
C.S. Lewis. Can you see? Yeah, you can see the poster behind you.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a quote. You never meet a mere mortal, right? Isn't that C.S. Lewis?
I think so. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that is. Yeah. So there's an eternal piece of like there's a depth here that like doesn't exist with eternal beings, like non-humans. And then just the practical level of like, I'm not like, even the most ambitious person will not actually like push themselves and like change in the same way in a vacuum with AI or with whatever, the same way as they would truly interacting with other people. Like marriage comes to mind, right?
Yep.
Like
for sure.
All sorts of things like being married and having kids, for example, that pushes you in ways that you would never push yourself. And even the best like persona coach AI, persona like therapist AI, like I just don't think it's going to be that.
Yeah. I agree. The other major thing, this is actually, so we recorded an episode recently about Jensen Huang.
Yes.
The CEO of NVIDIA. And it was great. We had a podcast talking about another podcast episode.
Okay.
And he and Joe Rogan were going back and forth on AGI, sort of the AGI thing. And, intelligence and sort of super intelligence was the vein of conversation. Right. It was really interesting because it really boiled down to sort of very first principles at the foundation, which is, well, can this technology actually become sentient, and have consciousness, right? And so I don't know if they landed the plane as clearly as I would have liked them to from a philosophical standpoint. Right. But, Jensen Huang was sort of saying, well, what is it to be conscious? Yeah. And he's like having an experience, like having an actual experience. And he's like, this technology can't have an experience, which I thought, was a really interesting point to talk about. But hearing you talk about, relationships and change, one really interesting thing is that AI can't make sacrifices for you. Yeah. And I think about, the times when I have felt very loved are generally when someone has gone out of their way or made like a personal sacrifice to show me that they love me or they care about me or, whatever. And it's like, AI can't do that for you. Right. There's nothing to give up. Right. Yeah. And I think that's a defining characteristic of, human relationships that you can't replicate with a machine. Right.
Yeah. And the other direction doesn't work either. Like,
yes.
It wouldn't value at all over you not giving something up.
Correct. Like yeah. It's incapable of valuing it. Yeah. That's actually that's horrifying to think about.
Yeah. It is.
It's horrifying to think about.
Gosh.
Yeah. It's crazy. All right. Well, are you going to talk to Claude differently when you go back to your desk?
I don't know. We've been in a pretty transactional mode here recently, so but yeah. We'll have to get an update.
We'll see. We'll get an update. All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one.